Hey, this is Seth with InDemandCareer.com. I show people how to get jobs in digital marketing with no previous experience or education and how to live fulfilling and unusual, exciting lives by following your own hearts and desires and not what everybody around you tells you. And in this video, on that note, I want to talk to you about self-expression. Self-expression is it's like candy. It is delicious. It is part of being a human, and it is a need. It is a need. It is not a desire. This was a huge distinction for me. A mentor of mine told this to me because, like most people, I thought that self-expression was like a desire, a luxury. Oh, you know, singers and artists, filmmakers, they can self-express. They're talented. Um, But if you're a normal person or you're working a 9 to 5 job, you're like, well, I can't self-express. How am I going to self-express? Am I going to get up on the desk and sing? There's that great Avicii video, Levels, where the guy starts dancing at work and they put him in the insane asylum, and that's pretty much that's a really great metaphor for what we live with in society. If you do not self-express, if a whole group of people does not self-express, then it's almost like not taking a shit for a long period of time. You get very, very sick, and things will start to bubble up. And what's happening right now in the world, I think it's painful, it's sad, it's kind of exciting, it's kind of disturbing, but it's self-expression. People are expressing shit that they have been holding inside. And this is what happens when you keep suppressing and suppressing and suppressing, or a group of people suppresses themselves or are suppressed. It just, everything blows up. And you might know that from relationships. People, it's like maybe that term passive aggressive is like when somebody's really feeling something and they don't let it out, they don't express it at all. And then at some point they just blow up or they swallow it. I'll talk about that in a second. But for you guys, I want to let you know, I encourage you to really express yourselves, and it doesn't mean you have to do a lot of external stuff. It doesn't mean singing, dancing. It doesn't mean demonstrating. You can do that if you want or not. Self-expression is, I think, much more intimate thing. And if you do it every day or every other day, it really has an impact on your life. And self-expression to me is not doesn't even really involve other people. A lot of times it's just writing. There's this great book by Julia Cameron called The Artist's Way. Julia Cameron is Martin Scorsese's ex-wife, and she has this program that's helped like thousands of people across the world discover their creativity. Normal people like lawyers and people that work as receptionists or fast food workers, normal people who think, oh, I'm not creative, I have nothing to say, go through this process with her, and they realize, oh my God, I'm still creative. I'm still like the little kid I used to be. And the first step in her process is a thing called the morning pages, where you basically vomit out all of this shit in your head for 3 pages every day. It's a very, very powerful exercise. It clears out your head and your judgments, all the judgments here. And when you clear out these judgments and get them out, you really do have room to self-express even more clearly. And I use this type of thing, like if I have something that's really bothering me or an issue with a person, I will write a letter, I will write an email, and I don't always send it. I know you might have heard that exercise before, but it's really powerful when you start writing a response or an article. If you're not a musician, every one of us can write. Even if you're not a very good writer, you don't think you are. You put stuff on paper, and just getting it out of your head is just, that's self-expression to me. And if you don't get it out, it gets it like ferments, it gets stagnant, it becomes toxic. But I'm not just talking about like negative emotions, I mean, there's positive things. You might have a story to write or something funny, I would just write down jokes or things I just thought of. I get ideas and visions about my course or videos or things I think would be cool movie ideas. Just write them down. It just does something. You when you do this little act of writing things down, it's almost like you're listening to yourself, even if no one else will listen to you. And that's the other big thing I wanted to let you know is like you have so much power. Like there's definitely power in being heard by other people in self-expression. But sometimes other people aren't going to listen to you, or there's nobody around, or you're like me on an island in Asia, right? Physically, there's nobody around. But doing these exercises with yourself, really, it's like you're listening to yourself. And that is ultimately what I think a lot of us are looking for in conversation, or looking for in interactions, is to give ourselves permission to kind of let go or feel the feeling of being heard. You know, the feeling of being heard, the feeling of being accepted, the feeling of having expressed yourself. And you definitely said there's a whole other dimension when you do it with other people or a group of people, or I do it with YouTube. But starting it with yourself is really, really powerful. You know, I do this all the time. But the key thing I've just come back to is that it's a need, guys. So if you find yourself unhappy in life, or even if you have like opinions or thoughts about what's happening, just start by writing it down. If you have thoughts and visions for your life, write them down. If you have thoughts about your people in your life that you haven't expressed, write them down. And then you can share them, of course, verbally. But I don't know. I just, it's true. I would go through my days before I really had this distinction. And I do my work, or I might, answer some emails, or I talk to my friends. But I didn't really take time out to be like, I'm going to self-express. And I'm actually starting a new blog, SethJared.com, and it's just for my self-expression. And I get to have that space. When you create a space of self-expression, it's like a blank canvas. It is so liberating. And you probably have friends in your life where when you're with that friend, you feel really light and good, and you can just be yourself and just let go. But most of us don't have that space with ourselves. That's what's so crazy. If you can start to create that with yourself, doing these videos, for me, has been an incredible challenge, because before I can share myself with you guys, I got to be okay sharing myself with myself. Sometimes I'll do 4 or 5 takes of one of these things, and I'll go, that was so terrible. and I won't post it. And now with this one, I was like, I've gained enough trust to just kind of put stuff out there. You will come up against that judgmental voice when you do this. And, I encourage you to do it anyway. Do it anyway. Like, you guys may think of me as someone who's very self-expressed, and I'm loud. I know I'm loud. I was actually at a restaurant here at this hotel, and I was on the phone with my parents and the German family next to me. The woman was just like, "Excuse me, please be quiet." And I didn't realize how loud I was on the phone. But I'm not like, I struggle with these same things too. Everybody does. You can even I used to read stories about celebrities and famous actors who had major stage fright and real lack of self-confidence, and they had real fear of expressing themselves. Everyone has it. When you see that everyone has it, you don't think that you're weird or different because you feel awkward about it. Everyone does. I do when I make these videos. A little voice is like, "Wow, you should make it more structured. Why aren't you using graphics? You're rambling. The camera's moving. You're sweating," all this other shit. And I'm just disregarding it because the expression is much, much more important. And if it can inspire any of you guys to do the same thing, like I encourage everybody, I encourage people in my life, start a YouTube channel. Just shoot some videos. I even tell them, don't even start the YouTube channel. Don't worry about the channel. Make a video. Talk to your camera. Talk to your camera. Pretend you're talking to other people. Just get yourself talking. And it's like a warm-up too. Like sometimes I'll do a few of these videos because I haven't been doing them for a while. And it's like exercise. You have to warm up. The point is that there's stuff inside of you that wants to come out. and there's great stuff, guys. There's great stuff inside of you. And maybe I should have said that earlier in the video, but there's great stuff. There's also, there's shit inside of all of us too. And that's okay. But that's not the main thing. That's that's just like the smallest component of what it is that we have to say. And the problem is that that voice in our head, it will seize on that. You'll say, something that you don't think is perfect, or I've done this too. Like I'll be talking to someone, and it's like, wow, I had these really good points, or this video, oh, I had all these really good points, but then I said that stupid thing. Who cares? Who cares? Don't get fixated on what you think is not a perfect thing to say. Like I always say, perfectionism equals poverty. Just give yourself permission to self-express in some way every single day if you can. I see people doing it a lot right now because of what's happening. I think it's great, honestly. I'm not going to actually talk about any of these issues right now specifically, but the one thing I will say is I don't want to stifle anybody, from saying what they have to say. Again, that's one of the things I really love about where my home country is, that you can say what you want to say. But, try to make sure in your own mind, look for your own censor, look for the own part of you that's telling you to shut up or be quiet or something, and don't listen to it, And even if, even in your own mind, we run into these things. I'll be sitting at the computer about to type or something, and then I'll have that. Some people call it writer's block, but it's really just like a kind of judgment or fear of what what am I going to say? That's the result of all these years of conditioning. So just let it go. Just express yourself in whatever way you want to, because it is a need. It is a need. We all need to be expressing ourselves all the time, not necessarily loudly to everyone you meet. Again, I'm not saying like talk to every person on the street and yell at them or whatever. I'm just saying, don't live in a silent world inside your own head. That is what leads to a lot of pain. And when I say, there have been times in my life where I've been so lonely, I live by myself, or I probably should do a whole video about these experiences. And I realized that there was a certain point actually where I started to talk to myself. And it was actually one of the best decisions I made, because I didn't want to do it for a while. I'm going to sound crazy. I was like, no, man, there's no one here but me. I'm friends with myself. So I'm going to talk to myself, and I'm going to listen to what I have to say. So that's what I did. That's what is like Castaway, with Wilson. Like, it really happens. So psychologically, there's such a need for human connection and for self-expression. And that movie is brilliant, because Tom Hanks stuck on a desert island. Of course, he's going to start talking to a volleyball. You need to express. You need to connect. And you feel so much lighter when you unplug the things inside of you that have been maybe plugged in. And again, it's not just negative stuff that you've been holding back. It's also your creativity. When I made the course in the first place, for the first time, when I expressed the course, I had this idea for like a year of I should make the course on digital marketing. And it was just sort of an idea. I didn't really let myself dive into it. And the process of getting that out of my head into an actual course was so fulfilling. And it was like birthing something. And it was so great. And I think, my God, what if I hadn't done that? I'd have this, thing inside of me that didn't get out. So I know I've talked in this video a lot about it from a therapeutic standpoint, or you have to do it or it's bad, but it's also really beautiful. It's really beautiful. I have a lot of students. It's the last thing I'll say, because I'm going to be talking more about my course on creating courses. I have a ton of students where I'm like, oh my God, you guys should make a course. And not just my students, but people in my daily life. I meet people and I can see the vision. Oh my God, you could have a really great course. You could help people. That's the whole point. You can help people and it can be your business, and it's amazing. But the self-expression thing is so confronting. There's it's different than running ads for someone else. If you're the person that did the creation of the thing, it brings up all this stuff about self-expression, which people run into. So I'm saying, okay, you're right. You don't have to become a huge YouTuber, course creator, or anything. Literally, just sit at your computer or sit at a notebook and start sharing yourself with yourself. And it will snowball, That's one of the reasons why I do these videos, obviously for my audience, but it's also very helpful, fulfilling for me to be able to express myself. So whatever thoughts you have in your head about shouldn't say it, or you have nothing to say. It's bullshit. Anything negative, I would say that last thing I'll say, I said that before, the last thing I'll say. Anything negative about what you're saying is bullshit. It's fiction. It's fiction. And the things that you say about yourself are going to be much more critical than what other people will have to say. That's another reason I think it's funny. It's like I'll do one of these videos and I'll think, oh my God, this was such shit. What was I thinking? And other people really, really enjoy them. I hope that's the case with this video. And it's not like the one time where you're like, you're right, Seth, this was terrible. But it's just natural. And I say it's natural. It's part of what the mind does. It criticizes things. So just disregard it. Disregard it. I give you permission. And express yourself, guys. I hope this was helpful. I'm coming on 16 minutes. I'm getting a little tired, so I'm going to stop myself expressing and go have some dinner. But I hope you guys are doing really well. I hope you found this helpful or informative or inspiring in some way. Please feel free to leave comments or questions below, and I will see you soon.